Hey guys, Goat Mom here, and we are back for an advice video. These will be your questions that you left in the community tab. And I've got my lovely assistant for advice videos. NightCove Fox and our orange security team here. You know, Halloween, fall.
They're trying to fit into the theme.
Yeah, it's a theme. It's fine. This is Xena. This is Maya. Okay, let's jump into it. My girlfriend is currently in an abusive household and we're trying to raise money through commissions to get her out. People are sharing, but no one is buying commissions or donating. Is there any alternative ways of raising money or doing things that won't involve getting authorities directly involved? Her mom has threatened to hurt her if she calls one. I would say get someone involved. I know it's scary and you're afraid of what could happen, but it's probably more scary what could happen. If she's truly in danger, you should get other people involved, without a doubt.
Yeah, if your life is in any sort of danger, then it's probably the right time to get authorities involved that can help move you to a safer location where you're not going to be physically or emotionally, mentally hurt, because I don't think that it's okay to keep living in that sort of situation, especially if plan A isn't working out, where you're trying to raise money from commissions. But depending on your age, it can also be hard to get a job somewhere, or you might be limited on what you can do. So the next best option might be getting the authorities involved for your own safety.
For sure. And if you don't want to call the police, then call your aunt or your cousin who's an adult, or, you know, a teacher, a principal, someone that you trust that's an adult that can help you with the next step, because there are steps to take to keep her safe. So do that, and I would do that immediately. There's going to be another question as I read through these, and I think it was
Shiru. No one asked you.
No. Kitty, 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 kitty.
You want to join?
Oh,
Bean's gonna beat you to it. Oh, there she's good. You were too slow.
Oh, I know there was another question coming up, because I've kind of read through some of these, and it's a similar question, and it had to do with a sibling acting out or being inappropriate with another sibling with this person, and same advice. This person said, well, I don't want to tell because I'm afraid that my dad will find out that I have like a Discord or a TikTok or whatever. So if I tell on my sibling's going to, you know, rat me out for my social medias. Who cares? Like the bad things that are happening or the abuse that's happening is worse than losing your TikTok or your Discord. You know what I mean?
You can always recover those later or when you're older. Like, it won't be forever, but getting out of the abuse is the most important thing. So even if you're using Discord or TikTok at the time to cope, it might be the time to just nip the actual issue in the bud so that you can start healing and actually fixing the problem without having to just... Sorry about the cats. It's okay, they're the comedic relief in this video. But I'd say that correcting the actual issue would be better than, you know, the effects that Discord or TikTok might provide you in terms of, you know, a distraction.
Right.
Because you can always get those back later.
For sure, and that's just a power that they have over you, so you cannot tell, and it's always more important to tell.
Yeah.
So, you know, anything short of losing your life, you know, it's always better to tell, because you need help, you need assistance. If your sibling or someone else in your family is being inappropriate to you, you do not feel comfortable or safe, immediately you need to get somebody else involved, an adult you trust, the authorities. Just take action. Don't be worried you're going to get grounded or lose, you know, your social media or whatever. It's just not as important as your safety and your health. Okay, this might sound stupid, but could you do stuff about learning disabilities? I have dyslexia and ADHD, or can you talk about safety for LGBTQ kids with homophobic, transphobic parents? First of all, dyslexia and ADHD. I know dyslexia well. I'm always flipping around my words, and I used to edit it out in some of my videos, but now I've left it in most of the time, so you guys can see that it's a normal part of life for a lot of us.
Rest our case.
Yeah, right. Like my mom used to say, try to say she laid awake all night, and she'd say I weighed a lake all night. You flip stuff around. Like for me, it's numbers, 6 and 9s flip backwards. A B and a D sometimes do that. And I don't even see that I'm doing it or see that in my head, but it comes out vocally for whatever reason. So
I would drive myself nuts because I would get math problems wrong. Gosh, see what?
See?
As soon as we start talking about it, it's like, all right,
here I am,
full-fledged. But I used to drive myself nuts because in math classes I took, especially algebra, when you're doing all these long equations with X, Y, Z and all these numbers, and I would keep getting the answers wrong, but I knew how to do it. So it was like frustrating trying to figure out like where I did something wrong. And like often it would just be that I had flipped 2 numbers around at some point in one of the steps, and that changes everything. So like it happens. I totally get it.
So you're not alone. You just said do stuff about learning disabilities, so not necessarily that you're getting harassed because of it, but if you are, talk to a teacher, an adult that you trust. Again, I know when you're a minor, you sometimes feel powerless, but you are not. You have rights, especially when you're at school, but also at home. So if anyone's making fun of you, making you feel bad at any time for any reason, find someone to be on your side. Tell somebody. As far as homophobic and transphobic parents, we covered a lot of that in the other video, so go check out the one. I don't remember what it is, but I'll try and pop up a card here for you with the link, or I'll put it in the description. Try to educate them on what they don't know, because a lot of times people don't know things and they react because that's the way their parents were. If you can educate them and, you know, make them see that everyone has a heart and feelings, you know, and worst case, you have to wait till you're an adult and GTFO, because
yeah, I mean, with friends that I've known personally who have, you know, parents who are not necessarily open to the idea, a couple of them made a mistake where they just kind of one day when they were in an argument about it just completely admitted to everything, like, oh, I'm gay, like I'm transgender, like this is just who I am, and the parents flipped out and their life kind of like their quality of life declined from them because they started getting things taken away from them. One of them was sent off to a camp. So it really just, it depends on the family. It depends on how well you think or know that your parents are going to react to having that sort of information. And if you think that your life will be negatively affected by coming out, or that you're going to feel less safe around your parents, then as a kid who doesn't have a lot of power in terms of, you know, like removing yourself from the situation and moving out, starting a life of your own, things like that, I would, you know, maybe just keep that information to yourself and only share it with friends you trust and know, or other family members that you know are safe in terms of, you know, that topic of conversation. But I would recommend, you know, just keeping yourself safe and following your gut most of all.
For sure, because a lot of people I know, you might be thinking, well, my friend just came out and her mom was so cool and blah, 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 and I think I should, you know, I want to do that, I want to feel that, and you should be able to.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it's not always the case. You know, just because friend A does it successfully and their family's great, friend B might have a totally different reaction, you know, and you don't want to get kicked out or lose, you know, things that give your life meaning, you know, access to friends or online. And so you just definitely have to gauge it by your own situation and how well you trust the people you're sharing your private information with. If they don't need to know, or you don't have to tell them something that you think is going to change your life negatively, there it goes, then, you know, I agree. I hate to say it, but you might have to keep it to yourself until it's safe to do so.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's your choice and your choice only. Do what you want, follow your heart.
For sure.
If you want to just splurge it out and just like come out about it because that's what you feel in your heart is the right thing to do for you, by all means. But this is just personally disclosed advice that just based on experiences that I've had with close friends of mine or things that I've witnessed, but it's not like I'm saying, oh, you have to do that. Like, this is the only way. Like, no. In the end, it is your choice. This is just my personal experience, and I'm sharing it with you in case it helps provide you some guidance in your decision, but in the end, it is your choice.
For sure. And if you are going to do it, and you think it's going to be rocky, approach it like an adult. Be calm, you know, maybe write out some bullet points. Let them know how you're feeling, what things make you feel, why you're sharing it with them. Try not to just blurt it out during a fight or something, because it might be received better if everyone's calm at the time of the discussion. Definitely you shouldn't probably blurt it out during a heated argument when they're already mad and you're just going to give them something else to blast you about. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's kind of like going up to your mom when she's mad about you not doing your chores that day and being like, hey, can I go spend the night at my friend's house?
Exactly.
Like, you just don't do that because you know you're not going to get the answer you want.
You wait till they're happy and relaxed, then be like, hey, can I go spend the night? Or can I go to this concert or Comic-Con? Yeah. Definitely pick your moments and prepare for them like you would a project. I need help with sickness due to my asthma that flares. How can I take care of myself while my parents are at work?
I have asthma as well, so I feel ya. I mean, obviously the severity can vary depending on the person. I've mostly grown out of mine, but as a kid it was pretty rough. I had an inhaler on me almost all the time. Physical activities or PE was really hard for me, but also I got pretty good at it. I think it was PE in elementary that kind of helped me like train my body to kind of get stronger. But the experience can vary depending on the person. But if you don't have an inhaler, I would recommend looking into getting one through your doctor. If you don't have like an inhaler or some form of, you know, treatment that can help you out in breathing comfortably, I would talk to your parent or guardian and maybe look into starting that because it can be helpful. Also just, you know, limit physical activities or exertion if that's what tends to get your lungs to kind of tighten up and have that asthmatic attack. Keep an eye on yourself. You know yourself more than anybody else does in terms of, you know, breathing and what tends to make your asthma flare up or not. But if you're alone and you don't have parents who could help you, obviously, like I said, I would personally try to avoid anything that exerts me or gets my heart rate up and gets my lungs to kind of sort of, you know, lock up a bit.
Yeah.
You know, just relax, do things that aren't strenuous. And, you know, in the meantime, I would look into getting some treatment for it if it really is affecting your quality of life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do the chill things when you're home alone and save the active stuff for when you have someone else home with you, just in case you have an asthma attack. For sure. And get a rescue inhaler near you. Also, put your arms in the air. You see it in the movies all the time, but it really helps open up your lungs. So if you're having an asthma attack, do what she just did.
I'm taking a cycling class right now, and what I do towards the end when I start getting like that little bit of a burny feeling, you know, when you've been kind of like for a while, then I just kind of like I slow down and I raise my arms above my head. And I force myself to like breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, and then I get my heart rate to kind of slow down a little, and then that helps open up my lungs as well. So just a quick little fix there that works for some people.
Yeah.
Just make sure though that if your arms are up, you don't start getting lightheaded, because that's a problem that I have sometimes. Is if your heart rate is already up and your blood pressure is already kind of low because you're working out, then you can probably get a little bit dizzy sometimes, so just keep an eye on that. But if you want to open up your lungs, you know, lifting up your arms can sometimes help.
And also I might add, get the pulse oximeter. I can never say it. You guys know from my other video I can't say that word. Get one of those, because that might help you calm down during an attack, because if you can put that on your finger and it shows that you have oxygen that's in the 90s, even though you feel like you're not breathing, it'll make you calm down mentally, because sometimes even though it's been closing in on a year since I had COVID, sometimes I still get that tight pressure and I'm like, ooh, am I not breathing? Am I not getting oxygen? And I'll check it and it'll be like 97. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. So, you know, that helps kind of calm your brain down. That helps calm the rest of your body down. So, and during an asthma attack, you're on high alert. You're on fight or flight because you're already stressed out. So, you know, if you know that I'm getting oxygen, the little meter says I've got oxygen, it'll help you mentally a little bit to calm down. So get one of those, because they're just a win-win tool to have on hand. And drink lots of water, because water is really good for your lungs. So everybody should drink water. But if you're sick or you have asthma or you think you have COVID, again, I say water, 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 because your lungs love water. All right, let's see. I have a condition that gives me severe heat intolerance. I live in Texas. This often affects if I can go outside or not. I plan on doing tennis in 7th grade and I'm nervous. I don't want to be singled out on days that I can't play because of the temperature.
We'll put the disclaimer, as we do in every video, that we are not doctors, we are not professionals, we are not licensed in any way. So if you have any developing medical crises or issues that are concerning you, the best course of action that I could recommend to you is to take it to a doctor, or take it to your parents or parental guardian, whoever, you know, is watching after you, and, you know, talk about getting it looked into with the doctor so you can seek some form of treatment that can help, you know, alleviate some of those symptoms or help treat whatever you're going through, so that, you know, your quality of life isn't really affected all that much. And obviously in tennis, I would try not to think about what others think, because your health is what's most important. And, you know, even if kids are like, oh, you know, this person is sitting out, like, why are they even on the team if they're not going to actually play? But who cares? Like, it's tennis in 7th grade. That's going to be such a small bit of your life compared to the grand scheme of things, that honestly I would just focus on having fun with it, and I would focus on taking care of your body and making sure that you're not overworking yourself.
That's right. And you tell them, hey, at least I'm trying to do something that is hard for me, you know.
Yeah.
What have you done today?
Yeah. What did you do? Pick your nose?
You know, and also provide yourself shade. Always wear proper attire, you know. In Arizona, a lot of people wear long sleeves even though it's 110, because it keeps the direct sunlight from hitting you. So, you know, wear something that keeps you cool, drink plenty of water, you know, take breaks.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay.
I was just gonna say that SPF long sleeve shirts are really helpful, because they're thin, they're moisture wicking, so it doesn't really make you like heat up all that much, even though it's long sleeve, because it's thin and breathable. But it also has SPF in the fabric, which is the same stuff that's in sunscreen you put on your skin. So without having to actually wear sunscreen on your skin and get sticky and weird, you can just put on a long sleeve shirt that does the exact same thing. And those worked well for me when I was like on the river in Utah, where there was nothing but sun directly on you for like 8 hours a day. Yeah. So I would highly recommend SPF clothing, and obviously hats, sunglasses. I don't know how functional sunglasses are in tennis, or hats.
Or hats.
I mean, I know that they have those visors. I see a lot of tennis players wear those, but honestly, if you can get something that covers the top of your head as well,
that's what I
that'll be the best, because if the top of your head isn't covered, the sun's still going to be beating down on your scalp and heating up your brain.
Exactly.
So you could get a heat headache really fast.
Yeah, I would highly recommend that, because they sell the cute little like tennis visors, but they don't cover the top of your head. So I would definitely recommend wearing a hat that covers your entire, you know, top of your head. Yeah. Again, it depends on what you're sensitive to. Some people are just heat, and some are actual sunlight, and some are both. So again, talk to your doctor, find out what works best for you. But yeah, and take breaks when you have to, because you should. It doesn't matter what other people think. Do you have any ideas I could use to help me keep more focused in school? Because I told my psychiatrist I didn't need my current med, and now I'm afraid for summer school. I think I sent you a message on this. If you told your psychiatrist one thing and you think you made a mistake, you have the right to change your mind. So you always should talk to your parents or guardian or an adult you trust and say, hey, I said this, but maybe I do want to try the medicine, or, you know, talk about other options that they might have offered. This was a couple months ago, so you probably already started and went through summer school, but, you know, always talk to someone that can help you make those decisions. How to stay focused. Everyone's different. For me, I used to love music in my ear. A lot of teachers won't allow that. Some teachers will allow like one earbud, and that helped me stay focused and tune out the kids. But everyone's different, so it's so hard with the kids and the teachers, and it's just a hot mess. So
nothing outside of what I personally did, but honestly it also depended on how cool the teacher was that I had in each class.
Yeah.
Like most of my math teachers were, well, in middle school they were terrible, but we won't talk about that. But in high school, other videos. Yeah, in high school, my math teachers were usually pretty cool about, you know, as long as everyone in class, you know, got through the lesson with time to spare at the end, we'd have time to like work on homework in class. And sometimes one of my teachers would allow us to like grab our phones, because usually you have to keep them on a shelf or in a designated pocket when you walk into class, and then get it at the end of class. But sometimes they let us get our phones early so that we could listen to music or a podcast or listen to something with earbuds while we did our homework, kind of like free time. But for me, like you said, music kind of helped me, but it was only for like math.
Yeah.
Because
same.
if I had to read something and I'm also listening to lyrics, my brain can't do both at once, or it rarely can. So music only worked for me in certain areas. Other times, I don't know what I did. I think I just got good at ignoring people.
You learn to tune people out. I used to listen to classical music. I was a ballerina.
That's true. There is instrumental.
So instrumental music is nice. Again, that's if your teacher's cool. Also, if you're really, really struggling with it, talk to your parents. And I don't know if the number differs in every state, but there's something called a 504 that you can be considered as, and if you do that, it means they have to let you manipulate your environment so that you can learn properly, and you might be qualified to wear like headphones, at least, maybe not with music, but maybe noise canceling headphones. Who knows? I mean, discuss it with your parents and with your teacher and your counselor and see what's available in your area and what helps you the best if it's really, really becoming an issue for you.
Also, for some people, having something to fidget with also helps. Like fidget spinners were really popular for a while. Or there's like material strips that you can like stick on a notebook or stick on your laptop if you have a laptop that you have to work on at school, or anything really where you can just kind of like touch it with your fingers, like, you know, like sensory, you know, stimuli that you can just like touch, or, you know, like slime. A lot of teachers aren't cool about slime because it's messy, but other things that aren't messy, like Rubik's cubes, little things that you can play with in one hand or the other, or sometimes both if you're reading, that can help some people focus. I knew a few friends that used to have like fidget spinners or some sort of like little toy or device that they would use to focus instead of using audio.
He's really into it. Yeah. Find something that you're allowed to fidget with. Some teachers are more strict than others. And make sure you're getting enough sleep and you're eating right, because that also helps you focus. If you're dehydrated, you cannot focus, I guarantee. If you haven't had enough sleep, you will not be able to focus no matter what you do. So always make sure you're doing those simple things for self-care. I know that when we're younger, we think, oh, it's not that big a deal. I can go with 5 hours of sleep. Yeah, you can do that once in a while, but on a regular basis, you need to charge up. It's like a car. You need oil and you need a battery. And if you don't, you know, take care of your sleep and your liquids, you're not going to run correctly. Okay. As a kid, I got yelled at when I did something wrong. I told my mom I was scared, in which she shouted more. I'm now petrified of shouting or any raised voices. I start trembling and everything. The other day in my class, it became a problem. They were being really disruptive to the point where our chillest teacher yelled at us. Of course, I started trembling, and then they made fun of me. And it goes on to say, you know, what the kids said. And the teacher told them to stop, and they let me stand outside of class for a bit. But now he teases me every day along with some other kids. What should I do? Again, get somebody involved. Talk to your parents. Talk to the teacher. Talk to the principal. The principal is your teacher's boss. But as far as trying to get yourself over the yelling thing, gosh, I think most of us have had that. A lot of us anyway. I know I had it, like whenever there was a raised voice, because if I heard that as a kid, it freaked me out. So as an adult, every so often it'll still get me. Exposure therapy is one idea. Again, talk to a professional, but if you hear loud voices enough and know that it's safe and you're okay, you kind of get used to it. She was running around playing with a fall leaf, and he's just having the best day of his life right now. So if you hear noises, it's a cat playing aggressively back and forth. The Siamese is losing his mind.
This leaf. Oh, it's wet from your mouth.
But
Ew.
As far as the person that's teasing you every day, you need to report them. You need to tell your parents it's happening. If they don't help you do something about it, tell the teacher. If the teacher doesn't do anything about it, then you make an appointment with your counselor and tell your counselor that you want it reported to the principal if you have to. Everybody has a boss, and everybody's goal in the school system is supposed to be that you get your education and you have a safe environment. And if you don't have that, then you have a right to speak up about it. People think they have to be quiet because someone's going to get mad at them or they don't have a voice. They're skidding out. But you have rights. Okay, here's one, the one I was referring to, where somebody's referring to that their sister is being inappropriate with them. I don't want to tell my parents because, one, my dad gave me advice already and I'm looking to confide in someone else, not just over text. Two, my sister would get me back by telling my dad that I have a YouTube and a Snapchat. I don't want to lose you guys. Telling my parents isn't an option, so I'm completely lost. I also don't want to call the authorities in case this is all fake. So again, you have to tell somebody that you trust, an adult that you trust. This is something you shouldn't keep to yourself, because one, your safety is most important. It doesn't matter about Snapchat or whatever. Like she said earlier, you can get that back. But two, your sister probably needs help, and if you don't get that help for her now, she might grow up to be a messed up human being. You know what I mean? Not that it's your responsibility to help her, but you have to do your part and tell on what is happening to you so that somebody can get her help. Don't put up with that, and don't let her think it's okay, because it's not okay.
Yeah.
Someone asking personal stuff about us that I don't answer. We don't answer personal questions, so please stop asking how old we are, what our real names are. There was a question that we got in a letter that you were going to refer to me, and it had to do with how to address a gender fluid friend.
Yes, yeah.
I would say ask daily if you have to, or pay attention to what they're wearing. Ask them, how should I get my cues from you on how to address you today? Do you want me to ask you daily, or should I just go by what you're wearing? Is it because some people dress neutral all the time, so I get that it would be hard to tell by the way they dress. But if you have someone that clearly dresses feminine some days and clearly dresses masculine other days, you can ask them, can I take that as my cue? High five, B. Good girl. Can I take that as my cue? Or ask them though, right? Wouldn't you want someone to ask you if you cared so much that you'd be offended?
Personally, I'm not, like I said, I'm not really offended if someone calls me he or she or they. But for some people, the way they feel that day can, impact how they want to be addressed pronoun-wise. So if you really want to be safe, just ask them. Ask them how they can tell. Ask them how they, you know, how they want to be addressed, or how to recognize, like you said.
Yeah,
you worded it better than I worded
yeah.
it. You know, like,
I mean, if you
ask them how you can detect
daily
how they're feeling and what pronouns they want to go by, or, you know, just ask them, how are you feeling today? Are we feeling on the masculine side? Are we feeling on the feminine side? Are we feeling none of the above, all of the above? Like,
or ask
talk to me, help me out.
Or ask if it's okay if you just say they or their name. They can just say, you know, so and so this, so and so that. No, so. You know, and if you have a friend, by the way, if you have a friend that's super offended and gets mad at you because you're human and you mess up sometimes, that's not a friend, and that's their own insecurities. I get that it's a hard journey, but also everyone has their own responsibility to figure out what they want and how to articulate to others what they want and need on a daily basis. And they shouldn't fault others for not immediately, don't fault others for being human. You know, like if they happen to slip up, or if you happen to slip up talking to someone and they get so mad at you, you know, I've dealt with this on Discord a little bit, and there was a very nice person on there. They didn't mean to say the wrong pronoun. They accidentally said the wrong thing. They apologized, corrected immediately. But the person that was so offended, they just screamed at the person for like an hour, and it was like, that's a little excessive. I get that, you know, it hurts to be mislabeled, but also remember that people are human. If I call you by your sister's name by accident, you know, you're not going to scream at me for an hour. You know, I'm just human for a second. You know, so don't, have some perspective and be patient with others if you're on the other side of that. That's what I would say, because it doesn't mean that it's not super important, because it super is. But just remember that everyone's human, and you'll teach people better by being calm and patient with them, instead of, you know, tearing them a new, you know what, if they accidentally get something wrong. Now, if they're doing it to be an ass, then yeah, you have every right to get mad. But you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I do think that, you know, if people are misgendering you, to be rude about it and they're doing it deliberately, then, you know, that's a problem. You know, that's when you have every right to be upset at them, because they are deliberately and purposefully misgendering you or dead naming you.
Correct.
And that can be a trigger for some people who have really bad dysphoria.
Yes.
So, but if you know, a friend you know has just genuinely made a mistake, especially if it's in the beginning of, you know, you having switched pronouns and it's a sudden change for them, you know, be patient, they will learn, you know, just help them remember, correct them, they'll apologize, you know, correct it, get over it quickly and move on, and eventually, hopefully, it'll become easier for them.
Exactly.
But even personally, I had a friend in high school who was FTM, so, you know, he went by he, him, but I had known him as, you know, identifying with female pronouns for so long that it took me at least a couple of weeks to like get consistent with the he, him. Even if I wasn't talking directly to him and I was talking to somebody else and he was in the room, sometimes I would accidentally dead name him, and then I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I meant this. And then he was like, no, it's fine, I get it, like, you know, just try to remember. And I'm like, I got you. And then I got better at it, and it was smooth sailing from there. But, you know, like, it's
human.
Yeah, humans make mistakes. Just know that they're most likely not doing it on purpose. But if they are doing it on purpose and they keep doing it just to get under your skin,
that's different.
Then yeah, that's a completely different situation.
Yeah, that's not a friend, and you need to get
Yeah, exactly.
move on. All right. That wraps this episode up of advice for you guys. Sorry it took a little longer than usual. As you know, we've got a lot going on around here, but I appreciate your questions. Keep them coming. I will put another question in the community tab soon, and you can leave your questions there. Thank you for joining me, NightCove.
You're welcome.
And you guys stay awesome, stay amazing, be good to yourselves, do something nice today for an old person or an animal, and to yourself. Peace.
There you go.
Perfect.
Hold that in.
Cut.
Till you were done. Tastes like Chipotle.
Oh God.
Chipotle.
Chipotle.